today we're going to do a full comic book review of Spawn issues number 306 and 307, The Prophecy of Death, brought to you by Rated Comics. By the way, link in the description if you wish to purchase any of these comic books in this comic book review. Support the art, support the industry. Timestamps will also be in description if you wish to go from issue to issue. And also, hey, this video is sponsored by coffee, so if you'd like to buy your boy a cup of coffee, hey, link in description. But the greatest compliment you guys can do if you like the content we're throwing up is to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It'll help Rated Comics to make more comic book reviews and comic book content like this, and as well as more Spawn content as well. But with all that being said, let's get into the content. Now, before we get into this issue, I'm just going to break down what happened previously on Spawn. Spawn and She-Spawn race to save Eddie from the dangers that haunt him in the aftermath of a violent mass shooting. Arriving in a place, North Dakota, the town, the duo find themselves confronted by a pair of vengeful, heavily soldiers in human disguise. Worse, the Vatican has dispatched medieval Spawn to capture or kill Eddie. As She-Spawn fights to protect Eddie, Spawn faces off against an armored medieval Spawn, and he is killing the hulking knight before a strange new threat emerges in a cliffhanger ending that continues now. Now, as we go into this issue, guys, in this panel, after reading this issue, this definitely throws you off in a loop, and I encourage you to watch to the end because it is definitely a mind fuck. But at the same time, I think you'll like it. I hope you enjoy it, and I know we'll get the answers in the second issue. The writers definitely took a risk and a gamble on this one, but I just encourage you to watch to the end, and I will be reviewing Spawn issue 307 as we hopefully get some answers on this thing, alright? So, Al thought his battle was over, that the enemy was defeated, but in Spawn's endless wars, there's always a new threat. It happens quick. A strange, glowing substance consumes Spawn in its infernal grasp. She-Spawn tries to save Al, but they try, and it's too late. Shocked, She-Spawn and Reaper now wonder what the hell they're supposed to do now. Spawn, he just gets sucked into this pitch darkness. Whatever they do, it won't come close to being useful because Al Simmons, this new nightmare he's entered in, is only the beginning. He feels like he's falling, being sucked downward into a pitch darkness. But then he hears voices. Fight it. Resist it. The way you've done your whole life. You've gone through too much to fail now. Don't let them win. Not now. Not after these years. We need you. The voice screams inside Al's skull, squeezing his brain. And just like that, he's about to black out, but the voice whispers one last word. Please. I mean, it's probably not exactly how it sounds. It probably sounds more like a demonic please. But I'm just going, forgive me here, all right? So the same word echoes across a time barrier through a continuum spectrum from Earth in the future. Okay, time traveling, a Spawn on Earth in the future. Who is his brother right here? I'm going to do the best I can to break this down to my understanding and my opinion, but I encourage comments and feedback below if you guys already know about this issue. A few minutes earlier, this man who has dubbed the hero had defeated a small army of attackers, but that small victory only led to the arrival of a massive 40-foot enemy. And just as the fight was to begin anew, the hero suddenly froze, leaving himself exposed to the coming onslaught of the hulking giants. Ow? I'm not Ow, or am I? No, wait, I'm the Raptor. I mean, to your left, says a voice off screen. Is this Owl in the future? I don't know what this is, but we're gonna go with it. Whoosh, this hand emerges. She thought, whoever this girl is, she thought she was helping him at a crucial moment in their battle to obtain the heart of heavens. She just made things far more worse and far more dangerous for the both of them. What have I done? She said, whoever this girl is. Though she used her powers like this in the past, it's never had an effect this badly on her partner. So their partners are okay. I can work with that. Raptor, damn it, move! What's wrong with you? Try as he may might, Raptor can't seem to find any coherent balance as he grapples trying to control this enemy's mind. Giving the creature the legion of 1,000 angels a chance to strike. Run! Get out of here before he kills you! I've called for help, said this girl. You didn't! You know what your prayers do to me? I had to, said the girl. Who did you send for me this time? It doesn't matter, just please go. I wonder if she secretly called for Al Simmons' help. Okay, enough with the theories. Just go on with the story. No, not without you. I won't leave. But this Raptor's thoughts, his thoughts continue to snap back and forth, flashing memories he shouldn't have. He's losing himself to the madness, and because the chaos playing out in his brain is paralyzing him, he's unable to react. We'll die if you don't get out of here, says the girl. It's too late for me, so save yourself, says the girl. Zoom! Raptor and this explosion happened. I don't know what the heck happened. Whatever this explosion is with this beam of energy or whatnot, victorious, the enemy bask in flames and ashes. His Lord has sent him down from the heaven with the command to slay those opposing his will. Raptor had long been one of the gods' fiercest opponents as well, as being one of the most mysterious humans walking the planet, all because of his Latin powers, which enable him to bond with others. Claudius, can you hear me? So now we got the Raptor's consciousness communicating with Claudius. My memories are being attacked, but if you don't survive, there won't be anyone left to save all those we've lost. Or maybe we just been fools. Maybe the legends are true. Maybe we'll be rewarded with something on the other side. So now at this moment of defeat, it seems like he's accepted the defeat instead of fighting to conquer. No, that's a lie, says Claudius. They'll kill our families, then want us to give up hope because we will see them on the other place. It's all a lie. Then listen to me, says Raptor, as I say, because the longer I'm away from my body, the harder this will become. But your family, do you ever think of reuniting with? She says, ow. The Raptor says Wanda. What are you saying, says Claudius. Who's Wanda? Now you're confusing them and you're confusing us as the reader. I don't know, just close your eyes and find me wherever I'm at, says Raptor. So she does that without even knowing what she's doing. All Claudius does is think of the same emotion flowing through Raptor at the moment. The emotion called love. And this huge energy beam of explosion just erupts and just hits him. And with her connection made, it pulls Raptor from his own dark ether back into the presence. Though he silently wonders who Wanda is and Al, though something seems vaguely familiar of being called Spawn. And he's like, okay, are you all right? I think so. How about you? I'm good, says Raptor, but something doesn't feel right. But I thank you for finding me. As I hold the crown to the heart of the heaven, there is a chance we all can actually win this war. They both let that thought sink in. Is it possible now they have enough power to truly take on all their ruthless enemies? And Claudius is like, I don't get it. We've won, at least for now. Why are you looking at me like that? It's not just you. It's just when the angel consumed me, there was a moment where I stopped fighting and I embraced what was going to happen to me next. That can't be. You're not remembering, right? He's like, no, I am. And that's when the invasive memory swallowed me. You're talking crazy, man. Our powers are bond. That's not how it works. But I have to ask you, you called out a name, Wanda. Who is she? And elsewhere inside of an unknown prison complex, we see this brother in dark, creepy silhouette, evil, sinister silhouette, whatnot, saying that this brother took the bait. He fell for it like I knew he would. Raptor's ego has always been where he's most vulnerable. And soon our time will come when the wrongs will be righted, and those that they see so casually dismissed as being too weak will once again sit upon the throne. I wonder if they're like foreshadowing King Spawn throne or whatnot. And it'll be self-righteous heroes that will be punished for their crimes, and all will be back as it should be, everything in its right place. Isn't that right, Billy? And we see Billy Kincaid like, yeah, that's right. Well, when that happens, what will you do? I'm going to make them scream and scream and scream. Yes. Okay. So as Raptor and Claudius are sitting, they're the last humans on Earth, or the last people on Earth or whatnot. But as Claudius and Raptor sit, looking at a moon that's been taking a bite out of like a Snickers candy bar or whatnot, they're talking about how they think their ancestors knew that they were creating a future for us, that it would be this bad, that everything will be like this nightmare. Is this nightmare going to end someday? And they're talking about, I hope it would, because it'll be nice for things to be normal again. It'll be nice to hear people talk, hear people on the streets again. I barely remember what that's like. It's been so long, the sounds people used to make. So they're reminiscing about the last time they smiled, the future they're going to have, and this things don't have to be this way. It could be better. No more angelic harvests, no more cannibalistic demons, no more serving minds from their bodies or headless serfs from stalking the ruins. And they're just talking about reminiscing what it's going to be now that they have the heart of the heaven, and can that be anything? So they're reminiscing about that, what that'll be like. They sit quietly, each attempting to process what tomorrow may look like if the legends of the hearts of the heavens are true. Because if they are, then the power they stole from their slain enemy will expose an even greater evil. So Claudius goes into, look, I want you to know I am sorry. I am sorry for not trusting you enough. I called you out to the darkness because I was scared. Scared I was going to lose you. And Raptor's like, look, you don't have to say all that. It's cool. I know, but I want you, says Claudius. I need you to hear this. I know you wanted to save everyone from what happened, but you're just one man. But you saved me, and I've been thankful for that ever since. So whatever happens tomorrow, you're still being man, and you're always have been. Just promise me that you'll. And before she can complete her sentence, her head gets decapitated off from this figure behind her. And I don't know what that is, but green eyes, is this a Spawn in the future? Or what? I'm just throwing out theories here. And he yells and screams as he sees the love of his life and their bond just get stripped away from him. Their voices provided Spawn a target to focus on, guiding him back to the light. Thrashing about blindly when he emerged from the dark, he accidentally killed the last female left on this earth. But Spawn saw her not as a hero, but as an existential threat. Now Raptor has drawn Spawn's full attention. So Spawn went into the future and killed her, but it still makes no damn sense. I got more questions, man. You're going to pay for messing with, and that's Spawn's dialogue. And then he says, my head. At full throttle, this head and transforms into the Raptor. At least I'm face to face with the monster who killed our future. And if there's any possibility of getting it back, the only way to trigger that is through your death. And that's where we end this issue, as Raptor is pissed and him and Spawn encounter one another. Okay, I do have some questions, and I gotta see where this issue goes. Do I think this is a cool issue? I mean, yeah, I do, but I gotta see how this concludes. Is the payoff worth it? And we won't know until we read Prophecy Death Part 2 in Spawn issue 307. Before we get into this issue, in Prophecy of Death Part 1, a mysterious orange energy had engulfed Spawn and set him hurling towards a horrific version of the future. A future that, if Raptor is to believe, is all Spawn's fault. Now the showdown is set to begin. The Hell Spawn versus the Angel Slayer. Now Earth is merely a nuisance. We get into this narration where Earth is getting in their way as heaven and hell wage their endless war against one another. So if centuries of their callous slaughter could so easily be dismissed, then Spawn is equally unmoved by the fact that he's just killed the only woman left alive in this new reality. And now is Raptor's bond Claudius or whatnot. And that was in the previous issue. She was the last one, says Raptor, as he unlaunches himself at Spawn, ready to get at the action. And the reason for Spawn's coldness is because even when his enemies think they're different or that they're somehow changed, at their core, they'll always be evil, regardless of their disillusions to the contrary. Now we're all condemned, says Raptor. And Raptor continues his enraged speech. She said you'll be coming, that you'll return to the devastation that your kind created. Spawn's like, man, I'm deaf to all this. I'm numb to all this, man. I'm Spawn, baby. And instead, what Spawn decides to do is he readies himself using a portion of his limited powers that he still has. Because to justify himself to his enemies would encourage even more rambling. And with this type that Spawn is dealing with, he has always found that less is more. And Raptor's like, my powers are fused with her, and he starts developing his arms back. But I didn't want it that way. She begged me, told me to survive long enough to find those whoever destroyed our planet. And Spawn's like, yo, what are you saying, bro? Having just fallen out of the darkness, Spawn assumed he was back on Earth, which he is. But he also assumed he was back in the 21st century, which he's not even close to being back there. But somehow Spawn was pulled through a time continuum loop. And instead of getting off at the same place he started, a ripple occurred, throwing him off before his hellish ride was complete. And what's worse is that Spawn may have caused all this damage himself. And Spawn's like, yo, man, I need to get out of here. Like, he knows something's off over here. The problem is, Spawn doesn't know where to go. If he teleports back into the shadow darkness, will he just get lost again? But if he doesn't go now, he might not have the power to try again. Devil, says Raptor, why have you made me weak? And Spawn doesn't know how or why, but he knows this deranged man is somehow draining Spawn's energy too. Those two are feeding off each other's life force. If I'm gonna die, then you're coming with me, says Raptor. And Spawn is beginning to feel what little power he still has start to drain away from his body. The planet is slowly eating up both their life like everything else that's connected to it. The heartbeat of this world is ebbing its way to a distinction. And somehow, this madman and Spawn are part of this insane puzzle going through something else at play here. And there is something else at play here, but it isn't heaven or hell. Spawn feels it. Spawn feels it's much bigger than those two. Much bigger. But it just needed the right catalyst to trigger an awakened spirit. What the hell? So they go back into this darkness. Spawn does. Fights this dude. Now something else is at play that's manifesting or getting born again or whatever the case may be. Now as Spawn tries to escape into the darkness, his mind is burnt with searing memories from Raptor's past. Master, says Raptor. And those memories have a cryptic tale to tell. And then we see this dialogue of this cage in hell or just prison in hell. And this guy's telling Raptor, your attempt at stealing away my throne never stood a chance. You know that, right? I've got spies everywhere. And a small army of loyal soldiers willing to die for our cause. Sadly, I thought you might be part of that movement. And remember how you used to boast to anyone who listened about your grand visions for hell? You were so persuasive to so many, and I admired how many you killed along the way who disagreed with you. Loyalty is your only currency. Without it, they won't follow you. And those who aren't built to be leaders can't understand its value. That's why I've chosen you, Raptor, before Raptor was Raptor as we see him kind of in human form, but before he gets formed into Raptor, or full-on Raptor. That's why I've chosen you. They don't know you yet, so you can infiltrate the ranks, kill those you deem unnecessary. Like you did, says Raptor, exactly like I did. God, the clown, none of them stood a chance. And none of them finished what they started. And none of them ever wanted me free, because once that happened, they knew if they couldn't control Simmons, they have no chance with me. All I need now is someone to unlock the final door for me, and that's where you come in. This guy tells him, I don't know who this guy is just yet, that we're going to convert this planet, make it our image, and the millions who will fight against us will blame the hell spawns for everything. It may take centuries, but when we get there, I promise I'll serve you, the carcass of the man responsible for creating me. Al Simmons, that's the man I'll serve you. He never knew what he unleashed with my death. He had no idea he had sentenced me to the end of humanity when he killed me. When he does, I'll make sure he'll scream and scream. I know that reference, and that's a reference from Spawn, issue number 5, when Spawn killed Billy Kincaid for murdering all those children. Then you could take over his mantle with the new identity filled with memories. That'll be so convincing, you'll think everything you've done was in the name of justice. And Raptor's eyes gets red, and he gets to flame, and he's ready for this action. And so, answer a simple question, says Billy Kincaid. I know who this is right now. I don't need no big reveal at the end. Yes, says Raptor. Can you be loyal to me? And Raptor says yes. And with that single word, the attempts at intersecting the future and the past began. The problem is, that's not how nature works. It won't tolerate being forced into something that isn't natural. So when hell's ambitious goals were thrust upon the world trying to destroy man and conquering heaven, it also woke a sleeping giant. That result will soon make its presence known to Spawn. But Hell's initial plan was to tap into the emotions of Al Simmons, the one 100 years later would be dubbed Patient Zero. They always knew the Achilles of this man was his emotions. It wasn't their physical skills or greed. Take away the thing that mattered to them most and they would be forever broken. And in Al Simmons' case, it was Wanda. It worked on Patient Zero in the beginning, and it continued to work through the countless decades until the servitude of humans turned their own actions into wars so devastating that the very air became poisonous to most inhabitants. Al Simmons may have been the first target, but others, blinded by their faith and loyalty, followed orders that would kill their own loved ones. And by that time, anyone could comprehend that their delusion of their actions had been set. Even the villains convinced themselves they were the heroes. Pulled deep into the blackness where Spawn thrives, Raptor won't allow himself to become a captive. If he can't control Simmons' mind, then he'll make sure Simmons can't control his either. Your time will come, Hellspawn, says Raptor. The shadows will turn on you when you least expect it. Then you'll know what I'm feeling. The losses I've had to endure all this time. I'd sooner die than serve you. Raptor, you can't, says Spawn, but Spawn grips his teeth. It had only been a few moments lost in the darkness for him, but for Raptor, it was years of being lost. Time had twisted itself once more, and though the shadows had blanketed Spawn a short period of time, his mind saw flashes of something lurking in the background. Someone who had waited generation upon generation to put this chosen one directly into spiritual contact with Spawn. Why? Because it only wanted one thing, and Spawn knows what that was. The beast has been freed. It didn't want Raptor as a warrior. He wanted him as a sacrifice. Frozen in that thought, now Spawn doesn't know, but we know it as a reader that it's Billy Kincaid coming back in action. Frozen in that time, Spawn wills himself to find a way back home, to get back to where he belongs. As he passes through that maze of time, something that follows him. Something is following while he's doing that. And it'll take some time before the two come face to face. Unfortunately, when that meeting does happen with the two, unspeakable horrors will have already been committed. Screams of anguish. Parents will fill the air with howls houses some injured animal. Week after week, these acts of slaughter would continue on the most innocent, and that most innocent will happen of that slaughter again and again and again, and it will happen with no way to slow it down or stop it. And since this beast, it can move so easily in and out of the shadows, it can be anywhere at any time, and it is invisible, like a ghost on the souls of tortured bodies of so many children. On that night, when Spawn and the Beast will once again meet, the monster will introduce himself again. Says the monster. And those words will forever haunt Spawn. What's the matter, Simmons? Of course it had to be me, but not Billy. He's gone. Now there's only Kincaid. And that is the end of this issue. I mean, I love the payoff that is Billy Kincaid. I didn't think this was the best issue overall, but now that I've read future Spawn issues, I'm going back to the past to catch up on Spawn issues. This Billy Kincaid and Spawn meet in King Spawn either issue 3, 4, or 5. I don't recall, but I'll put the card up top in the link in the description with it and what issues they met. And that was a gangster issue when they did meet, and that was an awesome fight when a demonic Billy Kincaid, after Spawn tortured him and murdered him in Spawn issue number 5, now he's back for some more action. So guess what? I just love the payout here. Did I think the issue was great? I mean, it threw me on the loop in Death of Prophecy of Death Part 1. But hey, I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought it was okay. With all that being said, Spawn issue number 307. What you guys think of the comic books? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you want to add this comic book to your comic book collection, link in description if you wish to purchase this comic book. Support the art, support the industry. And if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy and don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.